The legacy of John Paul II means different things to different people, especially Polish immigrants living in the UK. For some, he's a national hero, and for others, his legacy is a little bit harder to embrace. But one thing is clear, his impact on Polish identity, both abroad and at home, still sparks reflection and conversation, even 20 years after his passing. I'm Vicky. I'm a Polish immigrant living in the UK. I moved here when I was about 5 with my parents, who were part of the wave of economic migration that brought thousands of Poles to Britain. And even though I've spent most of my life here, I do still feel really connected to the culture. I visit my Polish family every year, I speak the language, I eat the food, and I try my best to keep those roots alive. But there's one part of our culture that's always really fascinated me, and I've never had the chance to properly explore it: the Polish Pope, John Paul II. But here's a little background first. Pope John Paul II was born on the 18th of May 1920 in a small town called Wadowice, 50 kilometers southwest of the now popular tourist destination and old capital of Poland, Kraków. Born Karol Józef Wojtyła, he took on the name John Paul when he became Pope in 1978. When he was born, Poland was still a relatively free nation. We just defeated the Soviet Red Army, and we were hopeful for the future. Sadly, this did not last long, as in 1939 the German invasion began. This brief period of freedom would soon become the only time of freedom Poland would know between 1772 and 1989. Therefore, Wojtyła grew up experiencing national freedom, but also understanding its vulnerability. Karol Wojtyła was known for his deep faith and academic brilliance. During the Second World War, he trained for his priesthood. Over time, he became fluent in 9 languages and became known for being a brilliant thinker. In 1978, he made history when he became John Paul II, the first non-Italian pope in 450 years. His papacy was marked by unprecedented global outreach. He travelled extensively and became known as the first global pope, and became a global advocate for human rights, peace, and freedom. For Poles, his impact was personal. Under communism, his words gave people strength. Many believe that he helped inspire the Solidarity movement and helped Poland on its path to freedom. However, his role has not been without controversy. Many have criticised John Paul II for his role in the Catholic Church's handling of sexual abuse scandals. Despite growing evidence, he failed to take action against abusive clergy and in some cases turned a blind eye to the abuse that was happening. To so many Poles, he's more than just a religious figure. He's a symbol of hope, faith, and pride. And for generations, he's represented what's good about the Catholic Church. Even now, 20 years after his passing, his legacy lives on. People in Poland and around the world still celebrate him. But it's not all black and white. His time as Pope came with some serious praise, but also some very concerning and serious controversies. So, to mark his 20th death anniversary in April, I'm diving into what impact he's made on Poland and asking the big question of, do Polish immigrants living outside of Poland still feel the same way about him? Today, Poland is referred to as a papal country, with many streets, schools, hospitals, and churches named after the Pope, confirming that he remains central in understanding Polish national identity. From personal experience, the Pope has always been an important figure in my family's life. My parents have always kept a picture of him in the house, and he would often come up in conversations with family. That being said, I wanted to see what impact he continues to have on Polish people, especially those that don't live in Poland, like me, or that don't practice Catholicism. Some people have compared him to the likes of Diana, saying that he is that type of figure for Poland as a country. The question that I want to ask is why? What about him is so important to Poles, and how has he managed to maintain this level of significance in so many people's lives? And if Polish immigrants living outside of Poland still feel strongly about him. The church has disappointed a lot of Polish people, and they've given up on it. And I think this is especially apparent for those that don't live in Poland anymore. Polish immigrants living in the UK are much more disconnected from the church than those that are still living there. This is especially apparent for Kasia, who has lived in the UK for over 17 years, and spoke to me about how the church has disappointed her in her lifetime. For her, there are some things she just can't look past.
No, na pewno rozsławił Polskę, no bo był tym papieżem Polakiem, jakby nie było, nie? To na pewno, bo gro ludzi, gdy nie papież, to by nawet nie wiedzieli, że Polska istnieje. No troszeczkę pomógł w obaleniu tego komunizmu, ale to też było obwarowane bardzo dużą ilością niejasności i dziwnych spraw. Ważne, że komunizmu nie ma, to nie było nic dobrego. Na pewno pomógł. Po przyjeździe do Anglii niektórzy nawet nie wiedzieli, myśleli, że gdzieś w głębokiej Rosji jesteśmy, także trochę pomógł. Zawsze jest pokazany z tej dobrej strony, może z jakąś taką lekką nutką niepewności, albo że on też był człowiekiem, że też miał swoje zawahania, też miał swoje takie demony, no ale nigdy nie był w tym złym świetle pokazany. No sporo rzeczy mógł, a nie zrobił. Pedofilstwo wśród księży, no takie różne, same pranie pieniędzy, no generalnie porównują do mafii nawet, nie?
To understand a little bit more about his importance to Polish people, I spoke with Paulina Piasecka, a Polish immigrant living in the UK for over 20 years. Paulina speaks about how she still has an image of John Paul II at home and why he's important to her.
I think that was the first time when he left Poland, he promised people he would be coming back to his own country, and he just wanted Polish people to be freedom. At the time when he went, there was communism in Poland. Obviously, we couldn't make any decision. We have to listen our government, and he make us to be proud and fight for our freedom. So I think he's a very important person for us, as he was first Pope to going around the world and visit over 100 countries and talk about freedoms and talk about bring people together. For him, it wasn't matter what religion you are. He just want to be around people and understood different religion, different people. And also I think he was like Diana, going around and just like bring people together in the world and help everyone if he could. I think a lot of Polish people have his image in our home. Symbol like freedom for Poland as well when we had communism. So I think he did so much for Polish people to be freedom. He just want us to be freedom, and he believed it we will be freedom. There was lots of different things around when he passed away, and I think that Bush people from church in Poland, there was like information about he knew about pedophiles inside the Vaticans, and he never did anything about it. And I think that is kind of youngest doesn't believe anymore in church and religion.
Finally, I spoke to Jez, a student and son of Polish immigrants who was born in the UK. Despite living his whole life in the UK, he still feels really connected to Polish culture. I wanted to see if he, despite never living in Poland, felt that same connection that so many Poles feel to the Pope. And to my surprise for him, the Pope is a really important figure.
My parents aren't overly religious, but he is just such an icon to our people that it doesn't matter whether you're religious or not really. I think he's just such an icon to everyone. I think he kind of made us like relevant and spoken about even during a time where it wasn't easy for our country during the communist times, and he encouraged people to fight for their freedom and fight back against the regime. I mean, he made us relevant during a time where it wasn't such a great time for us. And I mean, for him to be known worldwide leader of the Catholic Church, which is hundreds of millions of people follow this religion, and for him to be Polish is just massive, really. Perception has changed as time's gone along, because obviously there are negative stories, there are serious allegations against him, I guess. We'll never fully know the truth and stuff, so it's just a lot easier to focus on his positives, I guess. And over his time he did visit 129 countries, very well travelled world leader and highly respected.
I heard from Kasia, who can't look past the pain behind his legacy. Paulina, who keeps his image at home, but her eyes are still wide open. And Jez, who lives in Britain and sees the Pope who made Poland visible to the world, even as the world now looks back at his past a little bit more critically. For Polish people, both abroad and at home, John Paul II remains a complicated yet important figure. Not perfect, not forgotten, but still deeply woven in the nation's identity and history. That's it for today. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and stay tuned for the next one, where I'll be debunking more important, critical, sometimes controversial stories. Thanks.